Let's get something clear. Most people don't hate you. They hate who you becoming. And that difference, that's where the tension lives. This is Rent Free Radio. I'm Jay Ford. And today we talking about why leveling up makes people uncomfortable. You can be broke. You can be confused. You can talk about your dreams for 10 years. Don't nobody care. But the second it started working, soon as motion hit the flow, now you change. That's not hate for who you are, though. That's fear of who you becoming. You know, people build internal rankings in their own mind, right? Who doing better? Who behind? Who equal? But the moment you break your assigned position, you disrupt the hierarchy. And that's when, the hate start. People start doing they talking, they whispering, But this ain't about the emotional side. It's really psychological. Social comparison theory developed by Leon Festinger. It explains that humans evaluate themselves by comparing to others. So when someone close to you elevates, it forces a mirror moment. And research highlighted by the American Psychological Association shows upward comparison can either motivate or threaten identity. And when identity feels threatened, people protect it. How? By minimizing you. Must be luck. They change. Or they think they better. No, you just apply pressure. Confidence can look like arrogance to insecure people. Boundaries can look like disrespect to people who benefited from when you didn't have any. Let me say that again. Confidence looks like arrogance to insecure people, and boundaries look like disrespect to people who benefited from them when you didn't have any. And there's going to be people who say, oh, Jay Ford, maybe you are acting different. Well, yeah, that could be 100% true. Because growth, it requires difference. If I think the same, if I move the same, if I tolerate the same, I'm not evolving. I'm not growing. I'm being comfortable. I'm being stagnant. And comfort keeps everyone equal, yeah, sure. But comfort, it doesn't build winners. And the real question is, are they uncomfortable because you're arrogant or because your discipline exposes their excuses, right? That's a different conversation, though. Most people hate ain't even loud. It's subtle distance. It's backhanded compliments. It's the change in the energy. Because what really happened is this. It's when you unsure, they felt secure. When you were doubting yourself, they felt superior. But when you got focused, right, now they had to confront their own stagnation. And confront yourself is harder than criticizing someone else by a long shot. So that's why people criticize. Because self-reflection, it requires accountability. And accountability, it hurt. It hurt. Once again, it's three steps to accountability. Coach Big Love, tap in with him. He taught me that it was 3 steps to accountability. I encourage y'all to go find out what those 3 steps to accountability are. And once y'all find those out, can y'all please drop them in the comment section for me? Let's get back on task, right? If my growth is offending you, you was only attached to my limitations. You were never attached to me. The reality is you will outgrow rooms. You will outgrow dynamics. You will outgrow expectations. And every time you do, someone will feel displaced. That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is alignment, discipline, execution, evaluation. Let them talk. Because if they reacting, then you relevant. And relevance lives rent-free. We're going to start talking about why most people will never win. Most people don't fail because they can't win. They fail because winning requires too much. It literally requires you to become someone that you uncomfortable with becoming. You feel me? And let's stop blaming the systems for a minute. Let's stop blaming the haters. Let's stop blaming our circumstances. Let's stop blaming our lack of support. Because most people are average because they protect comfort more than they pursue growth. That's it. And comfort is addictive. You don't hate discipline. You hate what discipline reveals about your excuses. It's a concept, and it's called self-handicapping. Psychologists like Edward E. Jones, they studied this behavior, right? It's when people create obstacles so they have an excuse if they fail. Let me give you an example. I didn't really try. I was tired. Oh, I ain't really care that much. But why do people do this? This is the important part. It's why. Getting to that root cause is always the important part. Why is because if you try at your full capacity and you still fail, now it's real. You feel me? So people stay half committed. They want to give half effort, half focus, half the risk. And then they criticize people who go all in, which is ass backwards. I mean, full commitment is terrifying. It can be intimidating, but that's just backwards. Now we can argue the fact that, everybody don't want to be great. Cool. Then stop being offended when greatness distances itself from you. See, you can choose peace, you can choose simplicity, you can choose balance, but don't choose average. And then resent excellence. That's the problem. If you mock ambition, it's usually because you abandon your own. Most people aren't scared of failing necessarily. They scared of standing out. See, standing out, it makes you visible. Visible makes you judged. Being judged makes you vulnerable. So what do people do? They blend in. They call it being realistic. But realism without courage is just disguised fear. And fear spreads. And that's why when you start moving different, people get uncomfortable. You remind them of the version that they downgrade, that they shy away from, that they negotiated down. Average is safe. Average is predictable. Average gets approval. But average, it never gets remembered. So if you listening to this and you feel attacked, good. That means, something in you knows you're more capable of what you have been applying. The question is whether you're willing to lose comfort to do it. Because growth, it costs. Discipline, it isolates. And elevation disrupts relationships. But stagnation, it costs more. This is Rent Free Radio. I'm Jay Ford. Thanks for tapping in. We out.